and it's like the two of them working together from the bottom to the top is one of those. It's not really rags to riches per se because they earned it.
Yeah.
But it's like hard work and dedication. You apply yourself, and things are gonna happen.
Sure. My dad again, and recently had said this very same thing to SG, and had said the same thing to me, and he said, you keep working hard enough at something over and over, and you never give up, and something will happen that is good. And my dad comes from a family of 14. And,
Good grief.
So some of his
he didn't have cable either.
some of his friends describe him as like the smartest blue collar worker they ever met. It is just So it's like
I think that's a racist comment.
Best advice. Best
Blue.
advice.
Why you gotta be blue collar?
Racist.
Blue.
It can't be orange collar.
Racist. Yeah.
All right. And the number one animated movie, Disney movie of all time in the history of the world.
I don't know
Animated
what is it.
Disney
Wait,
movie.
hold on.
What is it?
Yes.
Yeah, why don't you guess?
That's funny.
Go ahead.
The new Cinderella.
Animated.
Animated movie.
Sorry.
Number one, and seeing as though
My
we've already
brain really
made
hurts,
this
but-
It's
announcement
gotta be Tangled.
before, then we all know
Meet
that
the
Meet the
Robinsons.
Robinsons
Oh,
Wait a
is
second.
my
Tangled
number
is not
one.
on this list?
Tangled's not on the
told
list.
us.
You know
I
what?
can't even
Tangled
believe-
is a really good adventure. Tangled is an action movie,
like Tangled.
and it's a lot of fun. But I'm looking for a message. I'm looking for a meaning.
The
And-
message in Tangled
Where
is
does
that
Shrek fit in? Warner Brothers.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
not even Warner Brothers. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Tangled is a story of
I might
not
be
to
doing
trust
this on
your
purpose,
evil
you guys.
stepmom. Is that her stepmom? I forgot what the relationship.
She was kidnapped.
She was kidnapped. She was an old witch, right? And she
Yeah.
was using her hair to stay young.
Yeah.
Tangled, awesome. I
And the chameleon.
And it was
Chameleon's
written
funny,
by
but he's no
the Brothers
Olaf, though.
Grimm.
He's better
It's a
'cause he doesn't
Brothers
even say
Grimm
anything.
story.
He's no Olaf though. The In Summer by Olaf. Oh my
That
goodness.
was funny. I'll give you that one.
Just letting off steam. Oh,
That was funny. All right.
Who's
all right.
cuter than Olaf?
but come on, look right there. Around here, however, we don't look backwards for very long. We keep moving forward, opening up new doors and doing new things because we're curious, and curiosity keeps leading us down new paths.
And
That's a good quote.
my curiosity, now that we got to number one, last week our
Can you do me a favor? Make a top 8 list and put Tangled on 8.
Well, honorable mention was Princess and the Frog.
Why don't you do 10?
Oh, you did
Because the music was, well, I started with 5, and then we're like, well, what about this one? And
Do
what about that one?
10,
And then I went with 7.
Add Tangled, add Princess and Frog, and add.
Can you think of a better soundtrack than The Princess and the Frog?
I don't remember the soundtrack.
In the Southland, there's a city
Come on, man.
way down
it's
on the
like
river.
Lion King. I like Aladdin.
Lots of jazz, man. Lots of jazz.
I like
in
jazz,
Princess and the
May I
Frog.
ask? I'm
that is some
actually
good
surprised,
stuff.
Ken. I must say.
Hey, come on. When they meet Lewis the alligator. They meet Lewis and the alligator in the swamp, right?
Oh, boy.
And he wants to play. He wants to play the trumpet. He wants to
I
play out there
love that.
with the big boys. And they do a flashback where he climbs onto the riverboat because he wants to play along with them.
That was good.
When he jumps off, it's like quickly everybody pulls out their guns and starts shooting at the water.
Right.
That is the funniest thing because
That is
it just happens so fast.
So racist.
It just happens
Against alligators.
against against alligators.
Yeah, man. All the small people trying to kill.
So Ken, why is The Lion King no interest for you? The Lion King? Question, feedback, comment. Because
Little
it's-
Mermaid.
Lion King is one
No,
of my
no,
all-time
she
favorite
couldn't.
movies.
The Black Cauldron.
No one's talking about the Black
That's
Cauldron,
why you
man.
put it on there.
Black Cauldron's racist.
Wait,
The
yeah.
Lion
Against
King,
cauldrons?
to me,
'Cause it's
has
black.
so much meaning. Like, has so many.
Like what?
I don't
What's
know.
the meaning?
Oh,
Yeah, you need to start.
Yeah, there's definitely all good stuff in there. Now,
It's-
you know what's interesting? What else is a dream? If you've ever been to the Animal Kingdom,
No,
if you ever been to the Animal Kingdom, they have a kind of a stage show. It's an indoor thing, and it's the Festival of the Lion King.
I've seen that.
I was there 2 weeks ago when I went to Animal Kingdom. I was meeting
Is it
a,
like it's like a circle, right?
Yeah.
Like a one ring.
Yep.
And they come
and they
in
got the
and
tumble
then-
monkeys,
I've
the
seen
gymnasts and stuff like that. And the music, you know,
That's
Be
good.
Prepared.
I don't remember.
Can you feel the love tonight? I
I
forget
know
the
Can
other.
You Feel
There's like
Yeah.
4 songs in there, and they each take turns singing their particular songs. The hosts of the show, and it is just immersive, and it surrounds you.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's definitely loud in there, but it's so awesome. That's a great show.
I just think, well, The Lion King to me, I think, has such a familial message, a spiritual message. It's pure love. It's a string of emotions. It's loss of love.
I just like Jeremy Irons' voice.
You're probably okay. Was he Scar?
Yeah,
he was Scar. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if you're going to take my Disney card away from him, but honestly, I thought Madagascar 2
Oh, well.
I like the film.
may have been better than The Lion King. Is
Ah.
that blasphemy?
Well,
Madagascar 2 was really good.
Dude,
Though.
well, here's
Will.i.am.
the difference, though, you guys.
I don't know.
It's 2 totally different movies.
No, wait a second. Was it? Yeah, Madagascar 2. That's what it was.
Two
Yes.
totally.
With
It was the hippo.
Bernie Mac.
But they're night and day.
Bernie
like
Mac.
It wasn't Bernie Mac. What was his name? What was
Bernie
it?
Mac
Good
died
grief.
before that.
No, he was. He was the dad.
Bernie Mac.
He was the father. He was the dad lion. He was the father lion of Alex Stiller's character.
Bernie Mac.
Oh, I've got a video at home.
Oh man.
I got the video at home.
But
And he was
I
the dad
think
character in that
I
movie. That was
love
really good.
Madagascars. Those are my uplifting go-tos when I want to chuckle and laugh, even though they have a message. But I think the story doesn't have any the depth. It's coming from 2 different places. I think, even though they're both journeys, but I think The Lion King is like, it's quite emotional.
Absolutely.
But Madagascar, I can't watch
The penguins are good. Are they lemurs? Is that what they are? They're lemurs. The lemurs are funny.
Sacha Baron Cohen is funny.
The first,
I'm a huge Madagascar.
the first Madagascar kind of threw me off because every now and again DreamWorks throws in humor for the adults. So there's a scene where the lion and the zebra, Stiller and Chris Rock, they get separated. They see each other on the beach and they're all happy to be. They're running towards each other in slow motion. And then the lion, his face changes like he's really getting angry. And then the zebra, in slow motion, he's a sugar honey iced tea. And I'm like, wait a second, really? Did you have to go there?
Yep.
Did you have?
DreamWorks?
It's like, thank you, but no, thank you. I'll stick with Disney over DreamWorks.
Yeah, Zumba was the character. Bernie Mac voiced it. So
Yeah, it was Bernie Mac,
Yeah.
who has passed.
But I liked
Right?
Madagascar 3
Bernie
a lot.
Mac passed away,
Yes.
didn't he?
Yes, he did.
I like Madagascar 3. 'Cause
Love the
Tina Fey
Madagascars.
And whoever else was in it. Anyway.
But 2 was good.
So,
So like the whole idea of the Disney thing is for me it's research.
it's
For me it's a
fun.
learning experience.
Love it.
When it comes to blogging, because I've never blogged before.
Your website looks really good.
Oh, I paid good money for that. I mean, I designed it myself, but I had to buy the theme and all that sort of thing. You know what it's like. So I put all the things on there and input all the posts are mine and the Disney quotes. I had to put all that information in there, pick and choose the pictures to use, et cetera, et cetera. But I wanna take what I learned from here and transfer it over to my tennis, because my tennis is really. I mean, that's why I moved to Florida 6 years ago to be a tennis coach. And I had this idea.
And now you work with me, or I
know,
work
right?
with you, should I say, because you were there first. Yeah.
Yeah, my life has taken a turn. So
Yeah.
now I want to take what I learned from doing all of this Disney and stuff with the Twitter and the Facebook and the social media, getting the word out there. My Disney Twitter is a couple hundred people, but it's actually bigger than my tennis. My Disney social media is bigger than my tennis.
It's hard. Like
Disney's
we
popular.
have,
More
we
popular
have
than
our
tennis.
Facebook page, for example, and we have Twitter. And in the span of a week, and I keep vowing, I've gotten better. That I'm supposed to help SG maintain all of these things, and whenever I feel that things are a little bit overwhelming, then I have to kind of pull back a little bit and the thing is, we love this. I love being on the show. Something that we do together. We talk about so many things. We learn from everyone. We learn so much and have a blast. We learn from our chat listeners, our friends. And, it's a lot of work. It's almost like a full-time. Like, I sincerely, I wish that we could allow me to be his full-time, like, person that handles all of his affairs, even though my brain is not exemplifying it today, because it hurts a little bit. I do have admin skills, PR. I'm a people person. I'm the marketing person, and he needs that. Even though we both have different artistic skills, like, I would happily be behind the scenes, and I would love to market everything we do full time.
She just doesn't want to go to work anymore.
That's it. I want to quit. I'm done.
Running the blog and the podcast and the social media, that is a job.
It is. It's extremely time. He knows. He's
exactly.
Yeah, he knows. That's why he's making. Yeah, and then there's like Derek H, who runs all games. There's about 30 shows on here. The man has a full-time job, and I mean, it's incredible what he does. I don't know. I can't.
Well, he doesn't sleep in.
It blows my mind
times,
that he does everything he does. It's just
he's a pretty good guy.
Much.
Oh, by the way, he got his package that we sent him. He's very appreciative.
Oh, I was wondering if
I'll show you the message he sent me. He was like, "Ooh," and he sent a topless picture of himself, saying, "This is how happy I am." For real. Saw boobicles and breast to chest.
So before we do start winding the show down, I love when I meet wonderful people. That would make you one of them, Ken.
Aw.
You're kind of all right.
Thanks.
You're doing something really interesting. You're kind of going, number one, you're going against the grain of sports in a way. And what I mean by that is, see what he does? See what he does? Is that you're trying to kind of, in my estimation, take an elitist sport and turn it into something
I think it's funny that you called it elitist.
accessible to all.
Absolutely.
And tell us what you're working on and what is your biggest passion in life. And obviously, suffice it to say, you work with kids first and foremost.
Well, all American team tennis, probably the best way to understand it is it's little league. As you mentioned before, and it's funny that you would use the word elitist, because it's really what we're dealing with when we're talking about tennis. On occasion, the kids will come to the tennis program, and any kid who shows any kind of potential, they immediately take them out of the group, put them off to their side, and we're going to work with this one player, and hopefully they'll become something. Well, I got news for you. I've done the research. Okay? There are 15, 20 men, American men on the tour making a living at tennis. 20 in a nation of 300 million.
We always see the same ones.
There's no possibility that your kid is going to play professional tennis, so why even bother? Let's have some fun instead. Okay? Rather than putting so much pressure on these players to develop into whatever it is you think they ought to be.
That's amazing.
The more you play, the better you get. I remember when I was playing Little League baseball as a kid, whether we won or lost, we all went to Dairy Queen after the games.
Yup.
That's what I remember.
Had hot dogs and
was, a winner. But I think this is a topic that leads into so many things that I myself am passionate about. Coming full circle, even in the past 2 years, how many times have I said, really understanding the full scope of like who I am, not to bring me into it, but is to say, if I do anything at all and I kick the bucket tomorrow, I want people to know they matter. And I think that it really does tie in with what you're doing, because All-American team tennis. Yeah. Is like you said, it's a sense of community. And it's a place where I think people can learn so much about themselves, each other, sharing, rooting people on, I don't know, just besides the sport itself. And these are kids that probably really need that.
There can only be one number one. 16 players enter a tournament. What you're really, at the end of the tournament, you got 15 losers. You know, we're watching March Madness on television right now, and these guys are crying coming off of the basketball court because they lost. You know, in the round of 64, they lost in the first round, so they knew they weren't going anywhere. They lost in the first round, and they come off the court, off of the basketball court crying.
There we suck.
Here's a problem: as far as tennis is concerned, the only product that we have to offer the market are lessons and tournaments. Lessons are expensive,
Yeah.
okay,
I was
and they're
wondering.
pressure packed. That coach is trying to make you into something. Okay, and tournaments. How many times can you suffer through the loss of a tournament before you say, I just don't want to do this anymore? This is hard.
Do you think that the way that they present tennis on TV has something to do with where it is?
No more tournaments.
That too.
No more tournaments. We just came from Orlando yesterday, where we went to see Central Florida versus Florida A&M. And in my mind, I would rather see tennis at the professional level as a team sport.
Yeah.
Okay, rather than an individual sport where the circus comes to town for a week. You know, if you're actually going to inspire the next generation and get people interested in what you're doing, you need to be here more than 1 week out of the year.
Yeah, I agree. I think I agree with like the whole team.
Yeah, I like that.
Sport, because like if you look at video games, although the difference is that they have video game competitions, MLG, Major League Gaming, or whatever, and their teams are like teams of 4, teams of 6, whatever the team requires, and their team shoot you in the face, headshot, or whatever. I don't know the different names of the teams, and they are a team. They're branded as this team. They go in, they play as a team. That's the only difference. And they exist as a team. That team exists regardless of who comes in and out, the members. And granted, it's not tennis. I think the only tennis with doubles, that's the only way that it can.
Well, here's the thing. Let's say that you're watching a baseball game, and the starting pitcher is getting rocked. He's getting knocked all over the baseball diamond. He can't get anybody out.
Right.
What do? You go to the bullpen. Okay, I was watching a match yesterday. We were at Splitsville, and they had tennis on TV, and it was, I believe, Djokovic and Murray. If I remember correctly, the first set was like 6-2, and the second set was 3-0. So Djokovic won the first set. He was up in the second set. Now, if tennis were a team sport, you take Murray out. Take Murray out because he's not getting the job done.
You know what? I
kind of like that.
Now, here's the thing. That's what we do. All-American Team Tennis. We substitute players in and out of our games to make it a team sport.
You know what? That would be more interesting. I would watch that because, like, say if it's 3 or 4 per team. Like, what are your team? How many?
Like 4.
4
kids on a team. You don't need more than that.
Yeah.
Can't get too many players into a doubles match. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. I mean, even if it's just singles and regular match.
Yeah.
In the team. Yeah, 4 would be ideal because you can switch one out, or even 2 if you need to, and still be all right.
This is such
and that's what we do.
An interesting.
It's a team sport.
So why do you think that this isn't happening? As far as is it just like the old guard where it's like, oh, this is tennis and it's not this other thing?
It's completely the old guard.
Yeah.
But wasn't it kind of like that with golf?
Golf is still.
Well, you know what's interesting about the comparison.
changed.
First of all, tennis is a sport. Golf is not.
Yeah.
That being said, in tennis, coaching is against the law. Coaching is illegal in tennis.
Huh?
Whether juniors, professionals, you are not allowed to talk to your player during the course of a match.
Yeah.
During the course of a match.
Oh, got
Now
it.
listen,
Whoa,
a golfer
excuse
has
me.
a caddy.
Oh yeah. Grab that from me.
Golfer has a caddy. He follows him around to
He has
every
a
hole,
coach.
and they talk to each other
Yeah.
about the strategies of what to do and that sort of thing. We watch UFC.
Yeah.
You got like 3 guys in your corner in between rounds. Every other sport has because again, the coach on the outside looking in is going to see things that you can't see, being in the middle of everything.
Right.
There, I don't see the benefit of having these players, and especially at the junior level where they don't have referees either.
Right.
That,
wait, they don't?
what?
They don't have
But they have
referees.
line judges.
No. Junior tennis tournaments, the 10s, 12s, 14s, 16s, you have a roaming official who is responsible for 3 or 4 tennis courts all at the same time.
That's insane.
So you're not watching the
that
game.
could be so
You
Not-
come
yeah.
in. You come in if somebody calls you and says, "Hey, this guy isn't playing fair. Can you come and watch us play?"
Oh.
Now, obviously, when he's there, the cheating stops. But otherwise, it's you and the other player. He calls the lines on his side of the court.
What?
Okay, there's no coaching,
I-
and in most
wow, I'm
cases,
shocked
there's no
at what I'm
spectators
learning.
either.
Yeah, that's
Parents drop their kids off.
Yeah, and bounce.
I'll be back in an hour and a half. You know what I'm saying? It is for these young impressionable minds. It is miserable to be a tennis player. It is isolation. It is lonely. It's not good.
You know.
It's not good. So I am out to change it.
We have an interesting comment because that's why we love our chat peeps. One says that's like switching out one boxer for another when he or she gets tired. Bad idea. So he's not
Team
really
boxing.
See?
getting the
Might-
And again,
concept.
as far as the old guard and introducing new ideas and concepts and that sort of thing, there will always be people who say tradition, tradition, tradition.
Yeah.
And again, hey, professional wrestling has tag team matches. So why can't you switch out a boxer?
Professional wrestling
You know what I'm
is
saying?
not
That's just an
real.
example.
It's a bad
That's just an
example.
Hey,
example.
don't talk like that. You know, Hector's
It's not
probably
real.
listening. He's obsessed
You know,
with
Wrestling
wrestling.
stupid.
But again, if Eli Manning is throwing interceptions, take him out.
Yeah.
If you're, I don't know a pitcher's name, but if you're a baseball pitcher and you can't strike anybody out, put somebody else in. Nobody wants to watch a 6-0 tennis match. It's not good for the players. It's not good for the fans.
It's not good for the sport.
It's not good for anybody.
I mean, that's the thing that whole, that Kaijudo analogy isn't the best one because boxing is a little different.
And we all know Bridget B has had a serious difficulty watching the UFC fighting, even though
No,
she
that's
could not
not
peel her
boxing.
eyeballs off of it. I know. It's a
I mean,
whole
I
different
can see the
tangent.
comparison where you're talking about stamina and endurance when it comes to tennis, and same thing with boxing. I think tennis can be more interesting, like how you say team tennis, but also I think like when I was kind of alluding to where the actual television presentation or how we watch it when we're not there. Mm-hmm. For instance, like remember the XFL, Vince McMahon's attempt to make a different league. Yeah. He introduced that flying camera across. Yep. That was there.
And
I was
now
like,
they're using it today.
Exactly, and that changed the whole presentation.
Interesting.
Not the whole, but it added to the presentation of football.
Wow, I didn't know you knew that kind of stuff.
He's a man of many talents.
I know.
You'll
wow.
see how many talents I got.
Oh my god.
Family show.
But yeah, I mean, like before that, the NFL was just like side, and then maybe the front. I was like, it was kind of boring to watch. Yeah. But then they got and I was like, okay, that's better than. And I'm glad the XFL existed for whatever season it was to bring that to mainstream. It sucks that Vince McMahon didn't get any credit or props for it in the long term, or maybe he did. I'm not too sure.
It's like, do you know how long it took for tennis just to get instant?
Oh, they have instant replay? Do they like have challenges?
They do have challenge. You get 3 challenges.
Ooh, wow, okay, I didn't know that.
For a line call or something along those lines.
What's tennis's origination? Is it British?
That's a good question. You should know.
I think it's French.
It's French.
Ah, boo! Tennis, boo!
I know, right?
We have a caller. Caller is on the line.
Oh, yes, it's Kaijudo.
It's Kaijudo, but you don't have a headphone.
I want him to take
don't
the
have a
headphones. Have
headphone.
him change places because I'm gonna.
Oh.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Real quickly,
Hold on,
I
my pal.
totally. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
I totally disagree because it's a one-on-one sport. Anytime you have a one-on-one sport,
1 second.
no one should be able to be switched out. I mean, in a team sport, okay, of course, that's what they do with basketball and stuff like that because people have to sub out because someone gets tired because it's a team sport. But one-on-one, to me, tennis is almost like a boxing match because you're running back and forth. It relies on stamina and all that type of stuff. So if you take someone out, that person's going to be refreshed while the other person's going to be tired. So it's not fair to the other person.
So are you saying that in baseball they shouldn't take out the pitcher because he's tired? The pitcher because he's tired?
Yeah, they do take out the pitcher when he gets tired.
Right.
Maybe
So
they shouldn't.
it's the same thing.
Yeah, but that's a team sport. I'm talking about one-on-one, one individual versus another individual, it should never be the case, because you're bringing in a fresh person versus an already tired person. It's not with a team where, there's like this balance that you keep going. You have some players that are tired, some players that are not tired, and that's how the game works. There's a balance there when you're switching people out, but there is no balance when you switch out a one-on-one.
Well,
the way basically you're upping the odds for the other person to basically roll over their opponent.
That's fine with me, but I tell you what, we've actually had some matches with there's two things I like to say. We've actually had some matches with us where one player will face 2 or 3 players on the other team and beat them all.
Well, you're doing some kind of Mad Max Thunderdome type
in
stuff, so
someone fresh
I don't know what you're talking about.
Doesn't always guarantee that they're going to win, but it does kind of level the playing field. Like I said, nobody wants to watch a 6-0 match. That's boring. Nobody wants to see that. So if we can actually get somebody in there to win the match,
when you're considering like a person's career, I'm talking about like professional sports. When you're considering that, I mean, regardless if the match is boring or not, that's still going towards the person's career. Like, if I buy tickets to a boxing match and they knock the guy out in about 2 minutes, I'm going to be disappointed. But at the same time, I'm not going to want the sport to change just to fit my entertainment purposes. I'd rather watch people excel at what they do and become better, and and have them get the glory.
Well, sports are a matter of entertainment, and if people are
if you're watching WWE,
which actually brings me to my second point. If you look at the numbers, you look at viewership, you look at ratings, you look at revenue being generated by the sport, people aren't watching. People are not watching. So we need to do something to inject some life into this game, because people aren't watching.
Sports is not for entertainment purposes. To me, sports is different. It's someone's career, it's their profession, that type of thing. I don't get disappointed if there's a blowout match or whatever, because that's gonna happen from time to time. You're gonna sometimes you're gonna have a good match, sometimes you're gonna have a bad match. You can't.
That's definitely one way to look at it.
If you start like switching up rules and doing weird stuff, then you're basically becoming wrestling, pretty much. It's not it's not anything real. Like you sound almost like the people who prefer baseball players to take steroids just so that a guy can hit a home run every time he's up at bat, which I don't agree with.
I don't see substitutions and PEDs in the same category. That's kind of a different topic of conversation there.
Yeah, because you're saying that, it's boring and, nobody wants to watch this type of match and blah, 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 blah. That's the same argument that people use with steroids. Like, nobody wants to watch a guy strike out, or nobody wants to watch a guy, hit the ball, in the park instead of hitting it outside into the parking lot. It's like nobody wants to see that. That's not entertaining.
Well,
but to me, we have to look past that. I think the fact that we view sports as entertainment is part of the reason why we have people abusing drugs, why you have guys smacking up their wives and all types of crazy stuff like that.
Well, that's a whole different thing. But
yeah,
no, it's not different. It's all in the same realm.
It kind of is. They're connected, but like it's both. Like what you say, it's both part of the athlete's career and choice, lifestyle choice or whatever. But it's also entertainment. Like if you go back to the Colosseum back in Rome, it was entertainment. And
I'm not denying that it's not entertainment. I'm just saying that the fact that we, us as, I'm not a sports fan, but I'm just saying, like, people that are sports fans, if they really value the sport, they really care, and they really care about this play.
Yeah, that's the point you're trying to make.
I think that's what I'm trying to make, is like we have people who are not sports fans commenting on how sports should be. It's like, dude, I am dealing with here's where the whole idea for Little League tennis came
you also
from.
have the armchair athlete who feels that they know how sports should be, which I'm like, if you're not out there with your nose to the grindstone, if you're not eating that grass when you're getting knocked down, then you're also on the opposite side of the field. I think that we need to talk with actual like football players, tennis players, and see how they feel the sport should change, and not so much an armchair watcher or a fan or a non-fan.
Okay, that's why I got into tennis, and that's why I got into coaching, because I didn't want to be on the sidelines saying you guys ought to do this and you guys ought to do that. No, I am in it, in the trenches, doing it every day. That being said, one of the reasons that I started Little League tennis was the sense of community and a feeling of belonging and inclusion rather than exclusion and that sort of thing. Now, as far as youth tennis goes, when I started 11 years ago at a club in Columbus, Ohio, I was part of the junior tennis program. The kids would practice twice a week. Now, tennis tournaments would come to Columbus once a month. Okay, now when we play football, every Saturday morning was game day. We play baseball, we play 2 games a week. I got into tennis, and they're playing tournaments and competitively playing once a month. And what I experienced over and over and over again, I can't do the tournament this week. We have a birthday party to go to. I can't do the tournament this week because we're really busy. I can't listen, if you don't play now, it's going to be another month before you get a chance to play again. But you know what? It didn't matter to the people. I got the impression that the kids were afraid. They were afraid to be put on display. They were afraid to be scrutinized in such a public forum as a tennis tournament. There's a lot of pressure that goes into it, especially when you're talking about no referees, no coaches, no referees, no coaches, and most of the time no spectators. It is you and another person.
You're making an assumption. I mean, kids get bored with things really fast.
An assumption when you see it firsthand. That being said, so as far as kids not entering tennis tournaments, it's the industry and the sport itself suffers because the kids aren't playing. So if they're not playing the tournaments, why would they come to practice? So kids would come to the tennis program, they practice for a month, twice a week, and then they're done. They move on to something else, and they say they feel good about themselves. I played tennis when I was a kid. No, you didn't. You never played a match. You came to practice twice a week for a month, and that was basically all that particular child did. I want to find a way to get the kids to keep the kids, because like I said, the more you play, the better you get. You are not going to become a professional in a month. Okay,
yeah, but maybe
it takes
some
time
kids don't
for
want
a
to
player
become
to
professional.
develop.
I mean, when you
So
look
we have
at any pro sport, I mean, you don't always have like you don't have an entire baseball team that make it into the major leagues. You don't have every single kid that wants to play tennis. You don't see them becoming tennis pros. I mean, some kids are interested in it, some kids aren't. I mean, you can't force them to play if they want to do something else. Maybe they want to take part in art, or maybe they want to take part in music.
Absolutely.
Maybe
There's
tennis
a lot
is
of
just not their
competition
thing.
out there. It's a very
if you see a kid
competitive
grabbing a tennis
marketplace.
racket, he's flipping it around like a guitar, then encourage that.
It's
maybe he wants to be a
a free
musician.
market. The kids have options. As a tennis coach, I want them here. Okay? Because if they don't come to practice,
maybe that's why they're not showing up.
Now
Maybe you're too
I'm
hard on
out of
them.
a job. Okay? So I want to do everything that I can to get these kids to keep playing tennis. I believe that, first of all, being a part of a youth sport teaches you so many valuable life lessons. Okay, we're talking about real world experience, about
So
social
you don't
interaction,
think a kid can
dealing
get
with
that?
people
You
and
don't
stuff
think a
like
kid
that.
can get that same lesson picking up a guitar?
No, it's not the same. There's definitely
Then
something
you're
different,
nuts. Then you're nuts.
and you're not going to get
I
it.
can't agree with that.
You're not going to. Well, that's okay. You're not going to get it in tennis the way you get it in football. There's a reason why they call a quarterback a field general. Okay, he's a leader. He knows how to work with people. He knows how to inspire people. He knows the words to say to motivate his team to perform. And of course, those players, when they all understand that they each have a part to play. Okay, if I'm a lineman, I'm not responsible for running the ball. I'm responsible for blocking for the guy who's running the ball. That's together. Everyone has their responsibilities, and when everybody does what they're supposed to do, the team as a whole is successful. So yes, I have to improve my skills as a lineman. I have to improve my skills as a running back or a wide receiver, as a quarterback. But life is a team sport. You will not go through life happy, satisfied, fulfilled by yourself.
I will have to disagree with your comment about the guitar thing, because it's not about just playing the guitar. It's about playing the guitar, then becoming part of a band, which is the same as a team.
Yeah, I was just about to make that same comment.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, and that's where Kaijudo was coming from.
Hi, Kaijudo.
And
sorry.
And so that's what I had to say about that. But I had a question. Would if tennis, as it is now, is a single, quote unquote, for the most part, a single athlete sport, would you be in the same position, like kind of pursuing team tennis, if tennis were more, I I don't want to say popular, but I guess popular and have more financial support behind it as far as like widespread acceptance.
I think I would pursue it as a team sport because that's kind of the way I think.
Right.
Even if tennis were as big as the NFL, I'd probably do it anyway. Because, first of all, it's not as big as the NFL. It's not as big as the NFL. I mean, I'm looking at U.S. Open ratings where 2 million people, 2 million people watch the finals of the U.S. Open. You know, Serena Williams just pulled out of Indian Wells because of a knee injury. Now, do you know how many people paid a ticket price, drove from wherever to see her play, and she pulls out? Now, Federer and Djokovic are in the finals of Indian Wells. Miami starts like this week. Okay, how many of those guys? Because Indian Wells, I mean, the players are already talking about this. How many players are not going to play Miami because they played Indian Wells last week? You know what I'm saying? So a player pulls out because I'm tired, I got fatigue, I can't play. Listen, the tournament directors need those top names to be there. Okay, that's how they sell tickets, that's how they make money, and that's how they can continue to put the tournament on in future years.
So wait a second,
some sports are just not popular in America. I have a friend who lives up in Canada, and she watches every freaking tennis match there ever was. Like you just have some parts of the world that are into one sport more than the other. It's just not. It's just not in America. I wouldn't
say it's parts of the world that are interested in tennis. Tennis is definitely bigger in some countries.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a personality type. You know what I'm saying? There are some people. We work with people. It's actually that we work with people that are tennis fans. But again, how much time do you spend watching it? How much money do you spend on it? How much do you devote to this game that you claim to be a fan?
Are they fans of the sport itself, or are they fans of the
playing?
Well, my friend is a fan of the sport, and she likes that Federer guy.
See, that's part of it. Like the personalities that, like Michael Jordan, made basketball super exciting because he was the best. He was just clap. You go to any sport, there's always like stars. You got
you need stars.
You need
I have a question. Sorry. Hi, I'm still here. When you said, basically tennis is where you want to be and you want the kids to be there, I think, of course, you want it, A, to bring sense of community and they can learn so many things from it, but B, also because technically they want to be there, am I right? And you want to afford them all the opportunities. So you would never force anyone to be there. It's
when we talk about a player's career and we talk about their earning potential and that sort of thing, like I said, there's 20 men in America that make a living playing tennis.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So as far as what's best for the players, let's find out what the players want. There's only 20 of them. Who cares?
Yeah.
There's only 20 of them that are making a living playing professional tennis. Now you have to follow me here. Okay, tennis is a team sport. We're talking NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball. Major League Lacrosse just expanded into Florida with the Florida launch last season. Okay. So Major League Soccer, whatever it happens to be, cities have franchises. Those franchises
are you saying that if you only have 5 kids that are interested in playing tennis, then you feel that it's a loss?
Huh?
The way it sounds like like if you don't have enough people, like what your number is, over 20 or whatever, then it's considered a failure. Is what you're saying?
You need a certain number of players to conduct a league.
2 or 5 kids that want to play tennis. They're showing up every day. You're not interested in those kids. You want every kid.
And the thing of it is, who are they going to play? Because we've experienced that.
You only need 2 guys to play tennis.
We've experienced that in the league as well. When you're playing the same people over and over and over again, you want something new. You need something new. You need to go outside of your little
So you're just trying to expand.
I'm trying to expand.
So if you compare it, like how many NFL teams are there, how many
a lot
MLB teams there are, NHL. You got to look at how many teams there are. How many Canadian football teams are there?
There's plenty.
There's like 10.
There's 8. More than 10.
No, there's not a lot.
Oh, really?
No, there's not. I looked it up one time. Like Canadian football.
Oh, okay.
It was like
there's more.
The Wombats and the Beaver Chuckers.
Well, here's the thing. As far a rising tide lifts all ships.
Uh-huh.
Because of the popularity of the NFL, not only do you have Canadian and arena.
Yeah.
But now you're getting things like the lingerie football league. Did you know that? You know what that was?
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And there's semi-pro football, and of course there's college football, and there's so many opportunities if you're a fan of football to participate, whether it's a player or a cheerleader or an equipment manager or a coach or something along those lines. There are plenty of opportunities for you to participate because football is big. I deal with coaches who play in communities, who play in parks and recreation, but they have full-time jobs because they don't have enough players interested in playing tennis for them to make a living out of it. Hello, I'm working at Saks Fifth Avenue.
Yeah.
That being said, we have a tremendous opportunity. This sport has tremendous growth potential because we are so small. And if we continue along the lines of tournaments and exclusivity and elimination and the elites and the country clubs and that sort of thing, it will not grow. The sport has been in decline since 1980.
Wow.
Every year, the U.S. Open ratings have gone down since 1980.
They might have to look at the coaches.
Jokes. He got jokes.
He's joking.
You know,
I'm not joking.
you can look at some of those. You can look at some of those coaches, but again, we're all doing the same thing.
Well, I think
We're all doing tournaments
think
and lessons.
The pro circuit is where I think it's kind of a trickle down thing, because like you look at the NFL. NFL is huge. It's worldwide, blah blah blah, and then it trickles down from there. It's like, we need players. Where are we going to get players from?
Yeah,
college. And then the colleges, where are we going to play from? High school. Before high
Yes, I
school,
get
what
that.
do you play? We're going to go play Little Pee Wee.
Pop
You know
Warner.
what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. So, that setup and that architecture for getting to the big game NFL, which is the goal of all these kids and stuff, is there. So that's where, if they implemented, like, say, they just say, guess what? Team tennis, y'all, and then all the pros right now say, I want to be on this team, and they can still do their solo tournaments and such, but they're like, I want to be on team, but I want to be on team Fed, I want to be on team Serena. Hey,
the numbers prove it out that team tennis is more successful than tournament tennis. Davis Cup, Fed Cup, Hopman Cup. Those are all team tennis. World Team Tennis is a team tennis competition. Last year was the inaugural International Professional Tennis League out of India. And in the description, the guy, Mahesh Bhupati, who was kind of heading up the whole thing.
That sounds like a fake name, but I'm sure that's his
He's
real
from
name.
India.
I know.
Needless to say, his whole thing, as I was reading the article, was NBA style entertainment. So it's not just what happens on the court. Yeah. It's all the accessories and the accoutrements that surround it as well, whether it's the music or the T-shirt cannon or the cheerleaders.
You being a coach, you made the argument before that, that if you just have a little bit of kids playing, they're not really going to get that learning experience. What type of learning experience do you think they're going to get by beating down on somebody who's already tired, after this switch out thing that you're talking about? Like, I don't think they're learning that way either. They want, if you want them to face an opponent, that opponent has to be at their level with the same amount of stamina as they have as they're playing. I don't think you're going to get that if someone's tired, ready to pass out, and then the kid just rolls over them. What kind of learning is that?
With a when you've done the research and you've done the homework and you go to, for example,
tell me the research.
You go into high schools and their teams are pitiful. You go into colleges and there's no one in the stands. Okay? You go to your parks and recreation. Like I said, the coaches have to get full-time jobs because they don't have enough kids playing the game. There aren't enough players playing this game to make it viable.
A lot of disconnects.
There's a whole lot of disconnect in there. Now, for example, I'll entertain your scenario there. So one kid is winning. Okay, the kid who's behind comes out of the game. Okay, we put somebody else in. The kid who's winning, what you think he's tired? You think he's done? No, he was winning. He's feeling pretty good about himself because he's ahead in the match. So when he sees that next person come in, again, am I going to get nervous that someone else came in and I'm facing a different opponent now? Or am I like, you know what? Bring him on. I'll take him too. I'll take him down.
Yeah,
I mean, know what I'm saying?
If it's a team
I doubt
sport,
it. I completely doubt that. Because have you seen that happen?
Yes.
In your experience?
Yes. I've been doing this 11 seasons. Here's the thing. I've been doing this 11 seasons. I've been a tennis coach for 11 years. So I know exactly what I'm talking about because I've seen it over and over and over again. Tennis is the sport in high school that kids play when they can't do anything else. If you're not in softball or baseball or track and field because you don't like running, you go get a tennis racket. Actually, these kids are showing up at high school. Hey, can I borrow a tennis racket? I want to be on the tennis team.
Dude, tennis is hard, man. You got
these kids are not growing up. These kids are not growing up with the game, and they're because at 6 years old they're taking lessons. Their coach is trying to make them into something, and of course you know how kids are.
You know
kids
what?
are like, I don't feel like it. I'm bored. I don't want to do this anymore, and then they leave. We have to find a way to keep the kids interested, and there's nothing more. The best way to keep kids together is to keep kids together.
I think.
I like that statement.
Yeah, whatever. I like that. I think that.
Don't be jealous. That was profound.
Yeah, it was, but still, she agreed, so I had to downplay it. I think that there's a association with certain sports and certain athletes like Michael Jordan, or I was gonna say Dan Marino, but he didn't win the Super Bowl, so it doesn't matter. But like these superstar sports athletes that it's like, oh, they're super famous or they're super popular or super, and there are tennis athletes in that same caliber. But I think that a lot of kids look up to Michael Jordan before they look up to like Federer or somebody else like that, because of the widespread that like NBA has over tennis. Now, if the tennis, what is the official tennis league or whatever it is? Is it like
ATP is men, WTA is women.
Okay.
And USTA is America.
USTA, U.S. Tennis Association. All right, so if one or all of these associations adopt team tennis as part of the whole package,
And here's the thing, they already have.
Right.
The USTA not only conducts tournaments where you can get a ranking and move up and that sort of thing, but they also do USTA team tennis. 2.5, 3.0, 3.5, 4.0. There are more players playing on tennis teams than there are in tournaments. You go to any of these country clubs around here or any of the tennis clubs up in the north.
That's true.
Yeah,
and
they're
the
play teams
during the
because
day,
it's easier. They're not being pushed to their limits. It's just easier to play that way. People like to win. That's what it's
not
about.
everybody's
Nobody
winning
wants
when
to
you're
be
a part of a team in
challenged
a
in a
league
match.
and
They
there's
wanna
standings
be able to
and
roll
others
over
and
their
stuff like
opponents.
that.
So of course they're
Not
gonna like the
everybody's
team.
winning. The team is an environment that is more inclusive than exclusive.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're going to get players on there who, listen, somebody has to play number 5 doubles. Somebody has to play number 5 doubles. So you don't have to be number 1 to be on the team. You want to enter a tournament? You better be good. You better be good. And if you're going to get good, you're going to have to spend hours and thousands of dollars paying for tennis lessons. That right there is one of the things that keeps kids out of this sport. USTA puts on free tennis clinics and free tennis camps and free tennis play days and stuff like that to bring kids in. They want to go into the hood. They want to go into the ghetto and put a tennis racket in the hands of these kids. Once those kids and their parents realize that you got to pay for this, they quit.
Going back to what you were saying was, they don't have enough opponents and stuff like that. I remember watching a documentary about Venus and Serena Williams. All they had was each other. They played each other throughout the entire time that they were growing up, and look what they become. So like I don't necessarily think that you need to have all these multiple different opponents.
They had other players that they played with, and their family was wealthy. Their family was taken care of. They talk about all this streets of Compton. No, Rick Macy, who has his tennis camp down in Deerfield Beach, had the Williams sisters at age 11. He had the Williams sisters at age 11 and 12. They were not on the blacktop courts of Compton, California, playing tennis. That's not their story. Their dad, when he saw they had potential or he was going to make them into something, he made sure that they got the attention that they needed, and they had the money to do it. What we do with our youth tennis league is, rather than paying per practice or paying per month, which basically just becomes another bill, nobody's looking to add more bills to their budget, is you pay for the season. When I go to Palm Springs Park and Recreation and I want to sign my kid up for baseball, it's $110 flat fee. That's it. It's a
easier.
one-time thing. That's what we do here. We make it affordable for the players. We make it as much fun as we possibly can. We hand out. Not every coach does this. I do. Hand out candy during practice. If we play a game like Olympic or King of the Court or Caterpillar or something along those lines, you win, you get a lollipop. You win 3 games, you take on 3 lollipops. On game day, we recognize the players for their accomplishments as well. You may or may not have won the match, but you held your serve. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this little iron-on patch that's the logo for your team, and every time you hold your serve, you get a patch. At the end of the season, you could have 20 of these logos on the back of your shirt. Now, I got the idea from football, college football, Buckeye Leafs on the helmet and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like when you see someone with so many awards emblazoned on the back of their jersey, that's a sense of pride. Not some trophy on a shelf in your bedroom that no one sees. But you can wear it out like your varsity jacket from high school. You know what I'm saying? You can wear it out and about. In addition to the Buckeye Leafs that we award the kids for the little things as just a little push, a little motivation to just keep playing. Just keep playing. We recognize the singles award, the team with the best singles record. That's a team award. The team with the best singles record. The doubles award is a team award. The team with the best doubles record. We recognize. We started doing fantasy too, so we recognize serving percentage. We recognize hold percentage. Fantasy, another idea that I had. I think we could do that in the professional. But it has to be a team. The biggest sports in the world are all team sports because humans are social creatures. We do not function at our peak, at our potential by ourselves. No man is an island. That's the idea behind it. There you go.
So you think that the end game to achieve many of your goals would be for the mainstream leagues, the professional leagues, to not just adopt but promote and put it out there as far as presentations like ABC Sports, bam, team tennis, final, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Just have it part of the regular sports
Give it a
lineup.
spot.
Yeah, but
Give it
The season, there's
Yeah,
a time of year where this is the tennis season. I mean, if I ask you today, when's tennis season? It's January to November.
That's the
I sincerely
That's
don't
the
know.
tennis season. It's
my
January.
my main argument is that you don't swap somebody out and put another person in when 2 people are already playing. You could already have a tennis team when you have one person, you have Venus and Serena on a team. They'll go up against two other females.
Well, that's doubles.
Venus plays one. After that match is over, then Serena comes in and she plays the other girl. That's more of like a team than say let's switch out Venus when Serena gets tired. I don't believe in that. I think you're screwing up the sport that way.
All right, I mean, I can see your point with that. I think that there can be compromises and ways that they can make the rules so that whether it's substitutions or maybe if there is substitutions, it can only happen.
Teamwork is fine. Substitution, no.
You can't say no, right? Maybe they come up with an idea where
it's not a great idea.
You don't even know. I was gonna say something. You don't even know how I was gonna say. You just always stubborn and stuff. But look, we've been going for a mad long time.
Yeah.
Way over time, and we're gonna end the show.
Kaijudo, it's always nice to hear your voice. Thank you so much for calling in. As always, we appreciate.
Nice to talk to you guys. And Hitler, I don't agree.
His name is Ken.
Ken Hitler. Okay, sorry.
That's
Later.
Right. Heil me.
All right, man. He's a clown. He is a clown.
He actually is.
Well, thank you guys very much for having me on today. I really appreciate it.
Well, and I think a good chunk of people hung on for a good while. So.
Dude, put the mic in front of you. Don't put it away and then talk. Put it in front of you. You're going to talk. Put the mic in front of you. What are you doing?
Am I still on?
Yes,
hello?
you're still on.
Hello, guys.
Oh, my gosh. Anyway.
Well, Bridget B didn't know she was still on. I mean, goodness.
Yeah, well, we're going to shut this down. I might be on later doing some stream. What's it, Sunday? No, I'm not going to be on. I'm going to put the show up and then pass out. But, thanks for calling. You got what's your Twitter?
Oh, let's see here. There's AA Team Tennis. That's my tennis Twitter.
Okay.
There's Experience Disney. No Y. Only takes so many letters.
Oh.
So, so experience Disney without a Y.
Okay.
That's the, and then of course there's Ken Tolbert Twitter, but yeah, the tennis and the Disney are that's where it's at.
That was a lot of fun learning so many new things tonight.
Yeah, remember, go to the websites. It was at the allamericanteamtennis.com.
All-American Team Tennis.
And the Disney World Dream Face in your
Live the DisneyExperience.com.
That too, yeah. Go to those places and click stuff and read about the tennis and read about Disney if you want.
Thanks a lot, guys. Peace out to you. And I'm going to make every effort to listen to some of your shows this week and comment on it next week.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Peace
and,
out.
Usually after this show is Nickelbella Radio, but they weren't on today. That's why we went super long, and we were late, but still. Make sure you listen to them. Make sure you go to twitch.com, twitch.tv/All Games Network Video. That's where this is at right now. And R9cast on Twitch. Watch that because I'll be streaming on that and stuff. You should get a Twitch channel. You don't have a Twitch?
Not yet.
We'll work on it.
That's why I'm here. I'm here to learn from
Yeah,
the guru,
okay.
the master.
No,
Yeah.
All things.
close thing. I appreciate you saying words, but that's not correct thing. But yeah, I think that's it, right?
Yes.
All games. Listen to all the other shows. Twitter. Oh, R9cast on Twitter. R9 Bridget. Twitter. Facebook. R9cast.
Making it prettier.
Instagram, Lord SG, LORDESGEE. That's me. That's it. And I got some remixes in the works, so y'all hear that. Y'all will hear that later. And I might have some other remixes or some original. But anyway, don't matter. I'm out. I'm tired. And here's Tranquility again. Wait.